Hello family, my name is Chris, I am your home gamer dad, and spooky time of year calls for spooky types of games. This one right here is definitely one of my favorites to play around this time of year. It just has this amazing atmosphere to it, and the theme behind it, and the art is just so beautiful. You can literally get lost within the dark corridors and the monotone colors within the Night Cage every single time you play, especially if you give yourself that ambient lighting of very low light, maybe actually play it by candlelight, who knows? I've gotten myself lost many, many times within the maze of the Night Cage. Sometimes I've gotten out, most of the times I have not. But there is something new to be found now, something new that is lurking within the shadows of the Night Cage. Be careful as you jump into those pits, because you may find yourself flamed to tooth with a really nasty creature. That's why today I'm going to be talking to you guys about why I backed the Night Cage Shrieking Hollow from Smirk and Dagger Games. It's the first official expansion to the Night Cage. It adds an additional board to the side of the main board that whenever you jump into pits, rather than you just kind of going to a selected spot on the grid, you actually go into that particular area, the hollow, and you meet a very, very nasty creature called the Other that will slowly try to work its way out of the pit onto the main board while you try to escape it every other way. Of course, you're going to need to find your keys. Of course, you're going to need to find your locked doors, the gates in order to get out. And as always, this is a 1 to 5 player game, really, because it does have the 5th player. Just keep in mind, if you are playing 1 player, 2 player, 3 player, 4 player, 4 captives, I guess they are, or something like that, will always be needed for the game. So if you're playing solo, you have 4 characters that you have to worry about. Kind of something I was never a fan of, but it works for this game, very well. So why don't we head on over to the Kickstarter and we can start going through what's new, what's old, and what to expect from the Shrieking Hollow. Shrieks rise up from the hollow, a grieving multitude crying out in a single voice. And you suddenly know the only thing separating you from them is a single flickering flame. So great. Before I even get into this, yes, I backed this mainly because I really love the Night Cage as a game, and I think this expansion's really good. And, pricing and everything like that is all really on the level with how I like things. But, man, I love this art. I love the feeling you get from this, the characters that you play as, the ones that are trapped in there. They're called something. I can't remember it off the top of my head. The Entrapped or something like that. I'm sure it'll tell me in the Kickstarter. Their designs are just so creepy, and everything is based around the flame. As you can see right here, all fired off and everything like that. That flame is your lifeline in many, many, many senses of the word. If you don't know how to play the Night Cage, I will definitely talk about that as I go along. But straight up, here we go. The Night Cage is a fully cooperative horror-themed tile placement game that traps 1 to 5 lost souls within an otherworldly labyrinth of eternal darkness. And now the Shrieking Hollow brings a new level of terror. Prevented. You must leap down to the hollows with the weakened flickering of your candle. You need your candle, man. That candle. The fire within the candle will be able to keep back all of the creatures that are within the Night Cage and the hollow. And, man, it just... I love the imagery. The imagery is so good. Seriously, full props to the artists in this game. I just love looking at this art regardless of anything. So, as I mentioned, 1 to 5 players, 14 and up. It's really not that difficult for someone younger in order to grasp in order how to play the game. I always feel like these age restrictions are more for not paying so much when you're getting all these pieces made and whatnot. In about 50 minutes, yeah, I would say that's reasonable, about an hour or so. Maybe a little bit more if you're running at a full 5-player game, but if you're just doing a normal game, which is always 4 players, yeah, about an hour, I can see that. This is specifically for the expansion. I will go over a little bit on what's in the base game, but the expansion is the main thing that we're worried about right now, because you have this around here, which is the main board, and then over here is your expansion. This is where that new monster, the Other, starts coming into play. And this game really been around since 2018. I first got this game, I want to say 2 years ago when I was in between houses. Before I moved into this house, we had actually, my wife and family, we sold our house months beforehand. And then we actually got this house, but it took forever for everything to close on us. So we were kind of nomadic. We were going between her family and my family. And then we ended up getting a beach house that we stayed in for about 2 months until this house was ready. And while we were down there, that's when I discovered the Night Cage. And it was great to get because it was just a fun time sitting there with my wife, and we had our second child at the time. He was just born, and he was a great sleeper, so he would sit and sleep, and we would play the Night Cage, or I think Horrified American Monsters. You know, it was around October, so you get some really cool, creepy games that we were trying to play at the time, and this was something that immediately caught my eye, that I saw, like, advertisement for and gameplays of and everything. I'm like, I need to get this game. Never was really into tile layers until I played Night Cage. I actually watched this not too long ago, Board Game Coffee's How to Play of the Shrieking Hollows. It doesn't really go over all the details on the Night Cage, but he does go over Shrieking Hollows specifically. So that was really a good thing to watch and kind of just emphasize more to me that I wanted this game. These guys are great, by the way, for a lot of how to plays. I'm trying to have a bit of their inspiration when I do mine. Let's see. So you got Devour the Rules as your little guy is falling into this massive maw right here. Oh, God, that's terrifying because that's the cover of the actual thing. Amazing. Here's just like a real quick how to play for the base game of the Night Cage. You are a prisoner. There you go. That's what they're called. They're called prisoners. And you have a light in your hand. And when you land on a spot, you're going to have different corridors that you'll be able to go from that tile you're on. And the light that you have illuminates the north, south, east, and west portions of that particular tile you're on, should you're able to go those ways. So like, he's right here in this middle one. There is all 4 directions that will get lit up, so all 4 tiles around it will be up. But if he moves to like this one over here, actually no, I'll show it right here. He moves up one, and then only the left and right paths are open, so those 2 are illuminated. But then there's a lot from behind you that de-illuminate, so those tiles actually get removed from the board and put into discard, and if somebody was to ever re-move back onto this spot, anything else that wasn't already illuminated would come back up. So basically it simulates a continuously shifting maze that you and the other prisoners are trying to get, like, work around using your candle. There you go, see, things disappear. So now, the next time someone goes there, it's something different. You have to go through it, and you have to be able to find all the specific things that you're looking for. First and foremost are keys. Every prisoner is allowed to hold 1 key. You can't have more than 1. You can give a key to somebody if you're next to them. You also can't share the same space as another prisoner, so that's another thing. Except for the gates. The way that the gates work is that the goal of the game is for every one of the prisoners to have 1 key, and then all meet on the gate, because it's the only tile in the game that multiple prisoners can stand on. And then you unlock the door and you leave. That's how you win. That's how it is. But because of everything constantly shifting, and then of course the monsters and whatnot that will appear within the Night Cage, these things are eating away at your flame, eating away at your candle. If your candle ever goes out, you can relight it using other players, but there's also a... This simulated candle right here that you put together is where you lay all of your tiles, and you're pulling them out as you go through the game. And then once it actually hits the bottom, that pretty much says that your candle has run out of wax, run out of light. You go into final flicker and things start disappearing from the board. If you can't move anywhere, and then you're lost in darkness forever. And if even one of the prisoners get lost in darkness, everybody loses. So that's the basic idea for the game itself. I'm going to go over the pledge levels right now, and then we're going to go and do the stretch goals. So first things first, pledge level, New Terrors, $25. This is actually the one that I backed. I backed this particular level, which is the Shrieking Hollows expansion, straight out as is, $5 off. Of course, you're still going to pay the shipping. That kind of balances out one way or another, but you get a bunch more of the path tiles, and these ones with the cracks, which all of them are very important, because if your prisoner is on a cracked tile and they move off it, it flips over to reveal a pit. Normally in the main game, if you jump into a pit, you're able to fall on like one of the directions from either left, right, or up and down that you guys fall on. But in this particular case, you would fall down into the hollows, which is this board right here. I am getting a little ahead of myself here. First, we have these 6 shriek tiles here, which whenever they're played on the board, if 3 of them, I believe, are on the board, it calls forth the other, which is this giant creature right here, actually, that's within the hollows, that's trying to work its way up to try to get out of it. There are other ways in which this creature moves forward as well, so that's another thing. You have an additional key. Trust us, you'll need it. I believe it. And then, like I said, you have yourself the hollow board. So when you jump into a pit, you fall all the way down to the lowest possible point you can go that doesn't have a prisoner on it. And then these pieces of the other will start making their way up. And I'm pretty sure that we're going to see that a little bit later when it gives a little more example of what the other does. Then we have anticipated stretch goals, which is the Endbringer. I'll show him momentarily. I actually have him, which is awesome. The Path Breakers. I love being able to get these promo characters now. It's amazing. Light Eaters. Anything that eats your light is terrible. It looks like a little bit more background on each one of the monsters that you can find within the deck, which is awesome. And then whatever these pathway tiles are, and event and difficult decisions encounter pathway decks. So this is cool. This looks like a really fun alternate way to play. Something new to add to the game because, trust me, you get lost in the darkness so much that you need to switch it up a bit. Next level is Rising Terror at $55. This is the acrylic deluxe set. So all of the pieces are upgraded acrylic tiles, which is great. That's cool. They look awesome. People say they feel nice, and that's wonderful, but it's only for this version. If you were to get this, you were only going to get the tiles in the acrylic form for the expansion. So if you have the base game like I do, all my stuff is in cardboard. Getting this doesn't make any sense because I don't have the acrylic upgrades. Now, one of the things I could do, so this is all the same stuff, it's just acrylic now, and then these are neoprene mats. So rather than being the cardboard mats that it comes with, they're neoprene mats. You get all the other stuff and everything. I think these are all also in acrylic. For Newly Imprisoned, this is... Oh, here we go. So this is fun too. Newly Imprisoned, $65. That's really good if you don't have this game and you're interested in it. You get both the Shrieking Hollows expansion and the original base game. This would be what I am having as well. All the cardboard pieces, all the punch-out, things along that way, $65. It's really, really good deal, to be completely honest with you. Because you get everything that it comes with, the Shrieking Hollows, Hollow, and then the Night Cage itself. All of your path tiles, your other monsters, these things are... This is the most common monster. You're going to see the Wax Eater in almost all of them. They are awful in their own right, but everything else is... The Dirge knocks out an entire chunk of the board. It's so cool seeing these things just appear on the board. Oh, man. But you get all this stuff, the metal keys, player guides, all that stuff within the... what is that? What was that one called again? Newly Imprisoned, the $65 pledge. And finally, the all-encompassing Darkness Plus, the $145 pledge, where everything is acrylic, including the tiles from the base game. So if you don't have anything and you want to go hog wild crazy, I want it all, this is the perfect thing to just have 1,000 different pieces and make them all super nice, super awesome, super deluxe. That's the way you want to go because everything is acrylic. I believe acrylic holder, acrylic stands, acrylic, such hard, powerful, like strong built pieces. I don't need them in my life. I really don't, but I can definitely appreciate them. 5 metal prisoner figures. I can actually add those on later if I want to. Neoprene mats, the works. Let me tell you, the works. And then, of course, there is a retail section as well, should you wish to sell this in one of your friendly local game stores. Before I get on to the add-ons, let's talk about stretch goals. These are things that you're going to get no matter what pledge level you go to, and I'm very, very excited for that. Well, I'm excited for other people, at least for the first one, because what we have over here is the Endbringer. I have him. There he is. There's a little guy. He's not really that big, because all he does is he fits within the candle holder itself, and once he is summoned by doing these specific, I forget what they're called, omen tiles, I believe they are, he just sits right on top of whatever your stack is, and every turn eats another one. Goes down, 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 and brings the end of the game faster. That's why he's the Endbringer. I got him on a GTM, Game Trade Monthly Magazine promo in it, so it was awesome to actually get this guy. And I got him like right around the same time that I got this game, which was awesome. So it was fun to have an additional monster that's like a special edition or whatever, just to add to my game. But even if I didn't get it, you get it now. Continuing down the line of things that have been unlocked, we have the Path Breakers. These are two-way monsters where they work like the Wax Eaters, where if a prisoner walks within their line of sight, they activate. And the way that these guys activate is that they take every tile within the line that they're looking at and flips them over into basically pits and everything. Very, very dangerous and just collapsing the floor out of nowhere on the unsuspecting, prisoners. So those metallic markers, those metallic figures that I'm going to show you also later that you can buy for 20 bucks. These are ID markers for them because they don't have a particular color on them. So you don't know who is who. So you can actually use these to say, all right, so whoever has this figure in this position, you are the blue player, you are the yellow player, you are the purple player. Personally, I'm not going to get those metallic figures. I don't really need to spend the money on them, because if I'm getting this for free as part of the stretch goals, I have little standees or whatever, plenty of them actually, from like Transformers, a deck building game that I don't need, to just slap them in there, and then I could use these as my figures going through the night cage, as opposed to the little candles, which I think this would be a lot more thematic and a lot cooler to look at. Actually put yourself in the role of the prisoner trying to get out. And this is new. This is something I wasn't expecting. A tutorial and keyword search app for the game. So it was like a companion app of sorts. It gives you a bit of an idea of how to play the game, probably explaining a little bit more rules, something quick to throw up onto your phone rather than digging through the rule book. So I can see that working very well. I like that. That's awesome. But I know that other future stretch goals are going to be other things that have been released. As I mentioned before, the Light Eaters, this is not part of the stretch goals yet, but it will be coming forward. I'm sure that these Night Terror guides and these pathway tiles and pathway deck, these are all going to be things that will pop up as the campaign goes on, which as of right now, there you go. At the time of this recording, 126,000 earned and growing. Very nice. Almost 2,000 backers, which is awesome. And 2 weeks to go. Plenty of time, even by the time this goes up, because by the time this goes up, it'll be about 12 days left, maybe 11, give or take, to be able to jump on this and check out not only what would interest you the most, if you have the base game, getting the expansion. If you have nothing, maybe getting both of them, or just... Well, you can't just pick, I don't think you can just pick up the base game, but why would you? Why would you want to just pick up the base game at this point? For $65, you get the base game and the expansion. That is awesome. You also could get maybe some of these add-ons. So here are the 5 Prisoner Metal Minis that I was talking about for $20. You'd be able to get one for each one of the players. $25, you would get the double-sided neoprene mat. I like the game board that it comes with, so I don't need the neoprene mat. I know there's suckers out there for neoprene mats. And don't get me wrong, they're beautiful. I love it, and I can absolutely see this being a wonderful thing to have. I just really don't need it. I don't want to spend the money on it. Or you can also have a neoprene mat for the Shrieking Hollow here. Again, if you get that $125, the biggest pledge, everything is neoprene, everything is acrylic. Just pay attention to what it is and what you have. Because again, I didn't go for the better version of the expansion because I don't have anything acrylic, and that just would make the game impossible to play because I could tell where the acrylic tiles are as compared to where the other tiles are. It would just be this complete throw off in terms of like what's what and everything, that I'd rather just be all uniform in cardboard, make it all look nice, get it all in that candle at the same time, and look wonderful, which they do by themselves anyway. Base components for this game, fantastic. Quick look at the Smirk and Dagger team. Chris Chan, Chris Mahone, Roswell Saunders, and Kurt Covert, which I believe is the CEO, owner of Smirk and Dagger. Guys, you've been doing a great job. I love Night Cage. You guys have some great stuff going out there and everything. Am I part of your newsletter? I'm pretty sure I am part of your newsletter already. I don't have any of this other stuff. I might have subscribed to BGG as well. So keep up the good work. Keep up the awesome job, not only with this game, but all the other stuff that you guys put out. And then finally, shipping. Oh, fun shipping. I mean, nothing's like too over the top here. The highest I'm seeing is $44 for European, like these particular countries, which is a lot. That's a lot USD compared to whatever it is that it may convert to in their currency and whatnot. And you always, the VAT, international VAT charge will be added in the Pledge Master. I don't know how high those go. I'm not familiar with VAT. I've only dealt with it a little bit when I worked for my last job, whenever we sent things over to Europe, whether it be for Essen or other shows or things along that ways. So I can imagine it, sometimes it may go up, sometimes it may go down. I'm not really too sure. But overall speaking, in the majority of places where these things go, shipping is not terrible for what you're getting. Now, it's crazy, like, I think maybe the standalone's a little high, but as far as everything else goes, I can kind of see where they're going with it. So, as I always say, when it comes to shipping, it is what it is. These have been much worse in years prior. Just a few years ago, these would have easily been doubled. Right now, things are going down pretty well, and all of the companies, Smirk and Dagger or anybody else that I cover here, are doing their best. They're working with shipping companies, they're working with packing companies in order to be able to get you guys your game for the cheapest that they possibly can. Could they always be better? Absolutely. But they're really not as bad as they were, so just take that for what it is. And there you have it, everybody. Why I backed the Night Cage Shrieking Hollow. Let me know what you think of the Night Cage down in the comment section below. Is this a game that you've played before? Is this something that interests you? Do you think you're going to be backing this? Or is this something that you're just going to be like, meh, it doesn't add that much to the game for me personally? I have seen that comment jump here and there, but personally, I like it. I think it's a really cool addition to the game. I think it's a fun new mechanic that you can add to it just to spice up the game a little bit more. And then, of course, whatever gets me back to playing this game. It is one of those games that will most likely sit on my shelf until this time of year because it is a scary game and this is the perfect time of month to play it. I can't see myself playing it otherwise, but maybe it may hit the table here and there. And if I have something else to put in with it, then it just makes it a little bit more enticing in order to get it on the table and to show other people. And if I can get myself some great mood lighting going, everything turned off and candles lit and whatnot, you're in for a great time at that point. Thank you all so much again for checking this out. I don't know if I'm going to be playing anything in terms of the Night Cage on this channel at some point, but maybe I will, maybe I won't. I'm not too sure. The month is still young. I got plenty of things that I can probably do for the month of October, including maybe something with the Night Cage. So that means in order not to miss any future spooky games that I happen to put out or other fun videos for you to enjoy, be sure you are subscribed to the Home Gamer Dad and don't miss any of these great fun things that could have a little shrill to them. If you wish to support the channel even further, a super thanks is always appreciated. You can check those out down in the description below. Always, always, always thank you for those. You can also head on over to patreon.com/homegamerdad. Check out the tiers over there. Possibly consider joining that growing family. If anything, thank you for your view, your like, your share, your comment. All of that great stuff goes into making this channel stronger, growing it every single day. And trust me, I appreciate every single one of you for anything you do. Thank you guys so much. You are the best, seriously. As always, take care of yourselves and each other. We are family forever, gaming together, whether we're prisoners together stuck inside of a never-ending corridor or just sitting in front of a fire and watching that flame flicker. We're together with each other always. Until next time, you guys have a good one, and I'll see you later.